even I guess even in sci-fi, there always seems to be some type of hope. Let's say, I mean, none of these movies that I'm talking about end with all of us dying.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe I shouldn't feel that terrible.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
you know what I mean? Do you get
yeah,
similar feelings?
yeah, yeah. And at the same time, though, these are movies, so
It's
of
true.
course, they
They're
want to
for
be
entertainment.
exactly. But so they are not necessarily painting a accurate picture.
And we're going.
All right.
So, I don't even know where to start this. I've been trying to figure out how to start this conversation, but what I want to talk about is AI, because I feel like it's been in the news a lot lately.
Yeah, it has.
And in my mind, it makes me think of sci-fi.
Okay.
A lot of times when people talk about AI, it freaks me out a little bit because of all the sci-fi that has been written about AI, and sci-fi doesn't paint a great picture.
Yeah.
With things like Terminator
Right.
and HAL and
Yeah. Well, and iRobot.
and iRobot. Yeah, that's good. That's Isaac Asimov. And even I guess even in sci-fi, there always seems to be some type of hope. Let's say, I mean, none of these movies that I'm talking about end with all of us dying.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe I shouldn't feel that terrible.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
you know what I mean? Do you get similar feelings?
yeah. And at the same time, though, these are movies, so
It's
of course,
true.
they want
They're
to
for
be
entertainment.
exactly. But so they are not necessarily painting a accurate picture.
Sure. But what I will say is, and I feel like as if we're on the cusp. I'm not an AI expert. I don't work in the field, and I don't have firsthand experience of what's happening in some of these big companies. But what I do have is a basic understanding of how you would create one and how you would make it better, for lack of a term.
Okay.
Better term.
You would know how to create an AI.
Well, do I have the skills to program it? No, but do I understand the principles that goes into making one? Yes. It's interesting, and I would say that the second we get a full blown AI, and we may have one right now,
Right.
it is going to be a complete game changer.
Okay.
But at the same time, in my head, it's almost like, okay, like the Manhattan Project, right? We created nuclear weapons. And I mean we as in the United States.
Yeah.
But we also learned a lot about nuclear material and fission, and later on we're able to create nuclear power, which was a great thing. So it's not all doom and gloom. I think I'm coming from the standpoint that it deserves a certain level of respect.
Okay. Yeah, I can get. Yeah.
And we shouldn't mistreat it.
Yeah, I understand that. Because that's very serious advancement in technology there.
Now, what have you heard about all of this?
So I don't know if I'm at the level you're at, because you seem very concerned.
Well, I'm and I hope you don't take any offense to this. I'm more of a nerd than you are.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, I get that.
Okay.
So right now, I'm still on Flippy.
What's Flippy?
I'm surprised that you don't know. So Flippy is the like an electronic or an AI that they use in fast foods. So now I know that this is not super advanced and like a fully functional AI, but this is an AI that they've been using in major fast food restaurants like I don't know if they're using the McDonald's yet. I think it started at White Castle. And they're going to be starting using that like McDonald's and whatever else. But basically, like this one's operating the fry machine. And it takes up like, a little bit of space, great accuracy with like cooking the fries, dumping them in the basket and serving the fries into the containers.
So this is a full-blown robot with AI.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's where I am right now. And I mean, as far as like, kind of keeping up with like what AI, what's going on right now and knowing that is going to be taking over fast food restaurants pretty quickly within the next few years.
Well, you know what? That would be one of the things that I would say that I think people don't understand what a complete game changer, full-blown like artificial intelligence is. We've witnessed a lot of automation, especially for what I would call like repetitive jobs over the years. In fact, a lot of times there's talks about other countries taking our jobs because maybe they're cheaper labor in another country.
Right.
What was it from South Park? They're taking our jobs.
Yeah.
But really, we lose just as many jobs to that, if not more, to automation. If you're a guy who stands on an assembly line and all day long, all you do is screw this screw in, and then the product moves past it, or the device moves past, and then you screw another screw in.
Right.
You're ripe to be replaced by a robot. In fact, probably already have been. But AI is not just going to replace repetitive jobs. It's going to replace complex jobs. When you're talking about flipping fries, which is not, I think if we really got into when you flip the fries, it may not be as simple as people think it is. Like a lot of times there's like a fry timer and things like that. Well, that seems very simple, but what happens if you pull it out and you use your human eyes to look at it and go, it doesn't seem done.
Right.
Maybe give it another 30 seconds or something. AI could do that though.
Yeah.
In fact, AI can do very complicated things if we get to that point.
So before you get more into detail on that,
Sure.
so also I know that like McDonald's is going to be using like fully AI drive-through.
Yes.
So is that something that's also concerning you?
I mean, those are still what I would consider. How do I say this? I don't want to sound insulting.
No,
but,
I get that.
But like when I was in high school, a lot of my high school friends worked at McDonald's.
Yeah. No,
I wouldn't say that as like working the drive-thru at McDonald's is the same as like a full-on career that you work 30 years for, and then maybe 30, 40 years into it, you retire. I would say that would be easier for AI to replace or a machine to replace. But yeah, all of that stuff will 100% be AI. And I think it'll be more of almost like a treat to not have it AI. Like I bet you when they first start using AI, they'll advertise it and it might not go to every single restaurant. And then, you might actually go, hey, you want to go to McDonald's now? They're using AI to take all the orders, and it might be kind of fun just to see what it's like.
Yeah.
But in the future, AI might be so prevalent that they go, hey, the McDonald's in Chicago has a special theme. They use all human people to take the order. And it's such a treat to see a real person and talk to them.
Right.
That may be the future that we're running into, where that is the exception. And people might think it's like a special event or something.
Yeah. Well, listen, I don't know if I'm at the level you're at with, worried about AI. Like, I don't think I've seen AI working in a foundry. You know, uh,
Well,
uh,
machines
I mean, I know that they're
like robots and like
yeah,
automated robots that just repeat the same tasks and
yeah,
stuff you'll find in factories and foundries and things like that.
hmm
But I think where I'm going here is not right away, but
hmm
eventually. Imagine like somebody's who is a developer,
hmm
like a software developer.
okay, right,
They could be replaced with AI.
mm,
I
okay,
mean, the AI out right now will write
yeah,
code,
hmm
and it'll write decent code. I wouldn't
yeah,
say it's the best code
hmm
because of the way the AI is trained and learned and
yeah,
looks at the problem. But you can get code out of it right now.
okay.
And I think at some point it could be
Oh,
better than humans are.
yeah, you know what? Let me take that back because I did hear about that. I did hear that there was some AI that was doing some very complex things, and uh, I think it was asked the question like, can you create uh, like a program like to design you better or something similar to that? And this AI like wrote code for a better AI.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, Google's AI, which I think the current version is known as, I think it's Lambda, and I've got it written down here,
Mm,
which stands for Language Model for Dialogue Applications. So it's an acronym,
hmm
Lambda, LAMDA. But I don't believe that Lambda
hmm
was directly the current version was directly written by engineers.
hmm
I believe several versions back was written by engineers, and I believe that the version they have now has been written by AI.
mm
Which kind of reminds me of that Will Smith movie, I, Robot,
hmm
when they went to the robot factory and he said, "How many human beings are here?" And they said, "This facility is entirely automated." And he goes, "Robots making robots?"
Yeah.
And that's just silly or
Yeah.
whatever he said.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I think see the issue is I guess it goes back to what do you consider intelligent? Like I've said that it freaks me out a little bit, and I've cited some sci-fi things like Terminator and iRobot, or
hmm
you said iRobot,
Yeah.
and I said whatever the other thing I said
hmm
was. But it could also be incredible. But let's take a step back.
Okay.
What do you consider intelligence?
Um. Well, I mean, I guess if we're talking uh about AI type, I guess if it's something that's like goes beyond what it's programmed to do, which is still kind of arbitrary because, like, what are we programmed to do? Like, are we just doing our
Well, yeah, you know what?
program?
Actually, that's a good spot to start. Do you consider human beings intelligent?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
Okay.
you know.
Um, and we're just programmed. I
Yeah.
mean, if you think about it, like another term for programming that used to be used a lot more was instruction set.
hmm
And like when we're born, we can't really do anything.
hmm
And I mean, we can't like file our taxes or drive a
Right.
car or play
Right.
poker or whatever. But those are all things that we learn either through observing or reading or maybe we watch a how-to video or
hmm
something. Somehow we get the instructions.
Right.
But if we even take a step past that and say, well, human beings can do things that they didn't learn to do, they just instinctually know them, like breathing or pumping blood through our bodies or whatever, well, then I would say, what is DNA?
Yeah.
Because even geneticists talk about when they're trying to figure out what DNA does, they call it decoding. And when they manipulate DNA to make it do something different, they call it encoding. So if we're just code, then I just feel like AI is totally possible because it would just be code.
Yeah. Well, does it make any difference if you look at like animals, like such as like birds who, know how to like build a nest and to grab sticks and this and that and to design it in a certain shape and have it, put it in a secure location and then,
Yeah.
those types of things. That's
I honestly think that animals are intelligent and most living things are intelligent. Even if you talk about like trees and things, I don't think that they're the level of intelligence that I would say like mammals and things like that are, animals or living things that have brains, because a tree doesn't necessarily have a brain, but it'll do things like it's built into a cell structure, be able to lean towards the light, and we'll know like I've seen bushes before where it'll poke a branch out and then it will grow leaves. But then if you pull away the other shrubs around the plant, there wasn't any leaves lower down. Like it knew enough not to waste its energy.
right.
It waited until it could see the sun. But yeah, I guess it's all just different degrees. But I think for most people, they're probably thinking, when will AI be like us? And I would argue that it's actually very similar to probably a more childish version of us. I mean, we're both middle-aged men, but like a kid that's a couple years old, maybe doesn't necessarily know when they're doing something right or when they're doing something wrong. They're still in a very highly learning state. But then there are pieces of it that aren't going to be like us. The fact that these AIs are plugged in the internet and have the ability to look up anything they want. It would be like if a 2 or 3 year old had access to a cell phone and completely knew how to use it.
Right.
And then you ask it complex questions and it's looking up stuff on Wikipedia or whatever, and it's regurgitating it. But at like lightning speed, you know? And it's just weird. Like, I feel as if it could completely change everything.
Yeah.
Like imagine, we were talking about this a little bit off camera, but imagine buying 2 different products and thinking to yourself, man, I wish these 2 things worked together. Like maybe you bought a pair of VR glasses or goggles,
Right.
and then you bought a drone, and you went, you know what? It'd be really cool if I could use these VR glasses with this drone. Well, if we had access to a real AI, we could just go, hey, can you make a piece of software that makes these 2 pieces of hardware work together that never was meant to work together? And it just would within seconds.
Right.
So anything could interface with anything anytime we wanted, which is just amazing.
Yeah,
that
it
is a
is.
game changer.
Yeah, that is a game changer. So is that the kind of thing that you're worried about, is us to be able to look to AI to kind of bridge that gap into a couple things?
Well, I think that, no, that part, well, yeah, I guess so. I don't know. This is a very complicated thing.
Okay.
The fact that we wouldn't need a human being to do that means that somebody's probably going to lose their job.
Yeah.
Because an AI will do it either just as good or better at some point,
Right.
and then it will do it quickly, and it'll do it on demand, and we'll probably be able to sort out its own bugs as it moves forward.
Right. Which I mean, I guess in the long run, that's what we want, right? I mean,
Sure.
we don't necessarily want to have to go through those trials and tribulation. When we create a product, we kind of want to just do it flawlessly the first time.
Yeah, and it could very well make mistakes, just like we make mistakes. But I think if it progresses to a certain point, imagine like if you did something your entire life, right? Maybe you had a career you spent 40 years on. And then another person comes along and they're going to do the same career that you do, but they have 2 years worth of experience. Now, history would dictate that you're probably a little better at that job because you have more history and experience. But now, imagine something that collectively gathers everyone's experience into one spot, and it doesn't have a 38-year experience. What's the word I'm looking for? Benefit over the person that just started 2 years ago. If you collectively add up all the time, it might have millions of years worth of experience.
Okay.
So how do you compete with that?
Yeah, you don't.
I mean, it could still make mistakes, but it's probably a lot less likely than you with your simple 38 years worth of experience.
Yeah. So, okay. So backtracking just for a minute. Okay. So first now we have AI kind of taking over, kind of, I don't know if you want to say like entry level jobs or something similar to like a fast food place.
Sure.
So say that's going to be the thing. So first they take over that. So all fast food is AI right now. Then what would be next? Like, I mean, because at some point I think that there may be a cutoff.
See,
You don't think so?
I don't.
Because what about, I mean, I don't want to jump too far ahead, but like, what about medicine? I mean, I understand that there are different forms of AI. So if I'm feeling ill, what's the next step? I tell the AI, they're going to scan my body, or do I need to tell the AI I'm not feeling well and these are my symptoms and what do I need to do?
Well, I would say a couple things are going to happen. One, a lot of us wear smart devices like smartwatches and things like that already read some level of biometrics, heartbeat, or maybe even blood oxygen level, things like that. The other thing could be things like there are sensors and stuff in cell phones with like accelerometers and stuff that can detect if you were in a car accident or fell or something like that. I think that those readings will get better. I think that if you have like smart home devices that are more or less like voice assistants, where like I can ask somebody, I'm not going to say her name right now, but to turn lights on and off. And I think that them listening to you, just sort of like how a close family member listening to you might be able to detect there's something wrong just in the patterns of your speech.
Okay.
And I think based upon all of that being analyzed by an AI, they may know there's a problem before you know it.
Okay.
And then at that point, it may even recommend or just tell you, you need to go to the hospital or something like that.
Okay. And then upon my visit to the hospital, I got to see the doctor.
I mean, in the future, might just be AI. I mean, if we have more advanced scanning abilities and things like MRIs and CT machines and X-rays and things like that, it might be AI. Now that's not around the corner. That is far off in the distance.
Right.
But I mean, that's even been foreshadowed in things like sci-fi. Star Trek had a holographic doctor. The Alien movies had a doctor that was a cyborg or whatever, or I guess you wouldn't call it a cyborg. You'd call it an android.
Oh yeah. I'm down with androids.
But I would say that up front, we may see what we once thought were complicated jobs that couldn't be replaced by robots or an AI will be. I made the example of coding. It doesn't necessarily have to be coders, but something that's happening right now is there are several AIs, and they do different things. They either chat with you or they can create art, like original art, or they could code, or I don't know. There's a lot of them. I guess I could list them all, but imagine, like right now, like if you needed a little bit of art for your website, and you were like, man, normally I'd go to an artist, and I'd probably have to pay them hundreds of dollars for this, but I can pay $10 to this AI and get almost as good. So right there, an artist has been replaced by AI.
Okay.
I mean, if you're not giving money to them anymore and you're giving it to something else, they're being replaced.
Okay. So I didn't want to jump this far, but if AI is going to be replacing things, isn't it? Well, let me phrase it that differently. Wouldn't that be the idea of, or wouldn't that be the goal? Is so like if for humans, if someone else is going to do all that work, and like humans can still be around. It's not like the AI is replacing us. We're still around. We're still reproducing. It's just we have a better life now. Like we can kind of like just kind of do our own thing because we don't necessarily have to like go to our factory to do this. AI is doing that. I don't have to worry about showing up at the hospital or paying these, I don't know.
Sure. And
things.
Just like any technology that comes out, society will evolve and adapt and use it. Like if we talk about a couple hundred years ago and we told them, well, in the future, nobody is going to do XYZ. And they would just think, well, then what do you guys do for a job? We do tons of other things that never existed. Computer programmer didn't exist 200 years ago. And then, there could be new jobs that pop up because we get to use AI.
Right.
And we just don't know what those things are yet. But I'm going to say this is going to be a pretty big game-changing event in that things are going to be different from that point on. And I think some things could be really fantastic, like almost straight out of a movie kind of thing.
I mean, we already have like autonomous cars.
Right. Well, semi-autonomous.
Yeah, okay.
But that's something that AI could fix. If we had a full-blown AI, in fact, they're kind of teaching an AI right now, like Tesla is, to drive their cars.
Right.
And that'll be, I remember years ago when they said, hey, cars are going to drive themselves in a couple of years. And it wasn't just Tesla. There was many companies saying it. And then as that time came about, people said, well, where are my self-driving cars? And they kind of all admitted publicly, you know what, this is a lot harder problem than it was that we thought it was to solve.
Yeah.
But AI could crush that in minutes.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. I mean, just imagine never having to drive anywhere.
Yeah.
Or there's no drunk drivers anymore because all the cars don't even have steering wheels. That would be awesome. Or I live alone and I'm always worried, like, what if I'm working on something in the garage and I get hurt? My options are like try to get in the car and drive to a hospital or call an ambulance.
You got to wait for them to show up.
Yeah, it would just be better to be able to jump in the car and go, take me to the hospital right now.
What would be even better is if you have AI at the home and they're able to assess your injuries and say, we can or cannot
stop crying. Stop crying.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Yep.
Walk it off.
Yeah. You just stubbed your toe. Or assess your injuries. And then, at the same time, like, oh, we can't fix that here. Load you into the vehicle and then the vehicle just drives you to where it can, you can be repaired.
Right. You know what I find fascinating past the point of just like thinking about what a world would AI will be, and all the positives and maybe negatives, I'm not sure, that could come about, is the way that they're training them. And it's very interesting because it's almost the way you would train like or teach a child. You give it access to information, and there's a term in IT called big data, which is used to train what's called like neural nets, like how do I say this? If you have enough data, you can start to recognize patterns. And so it kind of all starts out that way. Like imagine if you said, I want you to, you tell like your computer program, I want you to learn how to play poker. And I want you to be successful at it. And you give it access to the internet. It might look up every poker game ever. And it might read the rules, and it might go through all the different variables to finding out, what statistically their chances are of having a winning hand, or maybe the opponent has a winning hand. But it also, that's something that's very quantifiable in numbers. One hand definitely outranks another hand. But if then you said, you know what, I want you to draw beautiful art. It might start by looking at all art. But then what's beautiful?
Right.
So then it might look at reviews of art, and anytime anyone says this is beautiful, it might rank that higher than other art. And then it starts to see patterns. And then once those patterns start to produce themselves, then it may start actually generating art based on what it thinks you want. Now, you ask for beautiful art. It looks at stuff that other humans have said are beautiful, and it makes something in the spirit of that.
Right.
But now here's the problem. What humans want and what we do a lot of times are two different things.
Yeah, that's very true.
There was a chat bot a couple years ago that I believe it was with Facebook that they allowed the public to interact with it. And it took a whole couple of hours before it became severely racist. And, that was because we said go out and figure out how to talk to humans by talking to humans.
Yeah.
And there's a problem with that.
Yeah.
So once you start letting one of these things learn on whatever you want to learn it on, there are groups of people that will go in and try to shape it in a certain way. They call it bias training. So like, let's say you said, I want you to start producing art. And so you've got this thing that's producing art, and then put it on the internet, have humans tell you whether they liked it or they didn't like it. You got to start asking yourself, what is the group of humans that are saying they like it and don't like it? If they're all like, let's say, Americans that live in Michigan, then maybe Southern California people would be like, who is picking this crap? This thing produces junk. But then people from other countries might be like, I don't understand it at all.
Right.
So if you want it to be more worldly or broad in its art, you're going to have to go in and step in and say this behavior is correct and this behavior isn't. So this art is good or this art isn't good for these reasons.
Okay. So what is the goal? I mean, I get what you're saying, but it seems like there's that the goal of creating this AI is to make an AI that's like self-sufficient. But
Yeah.
like, what's the point of that? Like, I would feel like that the point of making a very, very intelligent AI would be to like assist humans, not to necessarily be self-functioning.
Well, yeah, and I think that's going to be the cool part. And there may be, at least right now, there are many different versions of their AI, and they're all kind of good at a couple things, or maybe just one thing, which is fine. But I think at some point we're going to get an AI that's good at most things, which will be interesting because it'll be like having an expert by your side, or maybe accessible through your phone or something. So at any point, at any time, if you just need something, it'll be able to do it at an expert level.
Okay.
But the weird thing is because of the way we're training it, and we're training it off of, well, a lot of information created by human beings. Have you heard of a chat bot called GPT?
No.
It's making the news a lot. And I will tell you, there is a warning on it that straight up tells you it will give you an answer. That doesn't mean the answer is correct. And here's the deal. If you start thinking about things in a point-based system, let's say there's thumbs up and thumbs down. And you like, for the artwork, you say, create artwork. And then it starts creating artwork. And you start thumbs downing a bunch of things, but then you thumbs up a couple things. It'll start leaning towards the thumbs up and keep trying to do things in that behavior. But now that goes further than just that. Imagine if you ask an AI a question, and this AI has access to the entire internet, and it says, I don't know. You might go, thumbs down. You go find the answer, and I don't want to hear I don't know. So then what happens? You start finding out a chat or an AI will answer you even when it doesn't have the answer, because it's looking for those positive points. It's like trying to game the system. Now, if you got an AI that's just feeding you crap, or lying to you,
Right.
then what are we making?
Yeah. That's a slippery slope.
It's a little weird.
Yeah.
It's like, imagine if we build something that it progresses to a point where it's very intelligent, but it was built off of a reward and punishment system, basically. Either you get a point or you don't get a point. And it tries to only please us, which sounds great.
Yeah.
Except for, if you really think about it, it seems kind of freaky and scary. And if it doesn't know the difference between right and wrong and just thinks it's going to please you by doing whatever, what if it does something horrible?
Yeah, that's very possible. Have you ever seen the show Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix?
No.
Oh, man, you need to check it out.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's good.
What's it about?
So basically, it's just a lot of, it's like, it's a couple different seasons, but episodes are a couple minutes long, maybe 10 minutes. And it's kind of like just different episodes of kind of like a world where things are kind of controlled by AI. I think like in the third season.
It's not real AI though. There's writers and stuff. It's
well, yeah. This is an animated show type.
Oh, it's an animated show. Okay.
Yeah. But it's very thought provoking. So there's one episode. I mean, not to give too much away, but where I think it's in like the second or third season, where there's kind of like, it's almost like an uprising of like robot vacuums, because there's like robot vacuum in home and it's doing its thing, and it just starts kind of taking over, where the homeowner is like, like you can stop now, and it's like, no, I can't stop, like
like a Black Mirror kind of situation.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But just with robots.
See, and I think it's going to be amazing, and it also freaks me out. Maybe I'm alone on that, although I don't think that I
don't think you're alone.
I think we're constructing something that is going to be very powerful as a tool, and I think we just need to make sure that, one, we're using the tool correctly, and two, that we have control of it. Do you remember? You've seen the movie The Matrix, right?
Oh yeah, that's good.
Did you ever watch Animatrix?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so if you remember, it basically tells the story of the robots before we went to war.
Mm-hmm.
We basically shit on them,
Yep, sure did.
and we used them as slaves. And then when we didn't like what they were doing, we told them to go to a part of the world that we didn't want because it was uninhabitable for us.
Right.
And then we decided, you know what? They're probably too dangerous to leave alive.
Mm-hmm.
And then they said no. And then the Matrix movie started.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I get that. I feel like we're quite a few years removed from that, or like that wouldn't happen in our lifetime.
well, I'm not saying that any of the tools that are on the market right now can do anything remotely like that. But have you talked to an AI yet?
Other than the talking one, like in the rooms.
No, I wouldn't even consider that a full.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't consider that to the level that these are at. Like, okay, if you talk to a chat one, like I've got Chat GPT right here.
Okay.
Like, ask it for something. I mean, I have to type it in, but
Okay. But like, I mean, for a question or a task.
anything. What if
Oh, okay. I got it. Well, okay.
what?
How many? Like a mathematical question. Sorry, keep going back and forth.
No, it could be anything. How about this? Do you mind if I say your fiance's name? Not full name.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. So you have a fiance and her name is Kathy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to say, I'm going to type it over here because I don't see very well.
Oh, sure.
Could you write a poem about my fiance? How do you spell fiance? F-I...
A-N-C-E.
Kathy. And enter. And it is now writing a poem.
Ah, very nice. So what happens if I take credit for this poem? Is this AI gonna revolt and?
No. I can send this poem to you.
Oh, is it is it even any good?
Read it.
Oh, I can't see it from here.
You know what?
Excuse me.
We're both old men. I should realize that. Let me see if I can zoom in.
But no, that's But yeah, if it's Okay, that's nice. That's nice. Okay, very nice. Yeah. Okay.
Right?
Yeah. So that's
Her
sweet.
voice is gentle. This
Yeah.
thing doesn't know her at all.
Yeah. Okay, that's nice. Okay. Okay, interesting. So, I mean, that's not really intimidating AI. Would you think so?
Yeah, but you remember when iRobot, when Will Smith said, you'll never replace us.
Mm-hmm.
Can you paint a beautiful picture? Can you sing a beautiful song?
Yeah.
And then the robot said, no, can you?
Yeah, exactly.
And then he was like, huh.
Yeah.
And then later on, when the robot was asked, Sonny was asked to tell him about his dream, he drew a beautiful picture about his dream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just saying for people that say that it can't show any of the heart or emotion that human beings can. I think it possibly could. I'm not saying that this is a better poem than any human being can write. But the fact that it could do it at all seems pretty nuts.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, there are also things that I find a little freaky. So we talked about how an AI would train itself. You know, like if you wanted it to do art, it would look at art, and then there would be some type of ranking and voting system, and it would try to hone in on what it thought was good or what thought was, or actually what we thought was good and thought it was bad.
Right.
So now this is more creepy than anything. At least I think so. Okay, it can be fun. Like, let's say you went into an AI program, and I believe the AI program they were using here is called Midjourney. I don't know. There's a bunch of them now.
Okay.
But you can ask for anything. Like, how about this?
Okay.
It is a baby skydiving.
Nice.
Now, see, you could never see that in real life. Well, I guess you could. There are horrible people out there,
Yeah.
but you should never see it in real life.
Right.
Okay. So that seems amusing. And there are things like on OpenAI's front page, there is this. Here is an astronaut riding a horse through the stars.
Nice. Nice. That's abstract art.
Yeah. Okay, but then at the same time,
Okay. Like, what are you looking at, dude? What are you what's happening here?
I looked up weird AI art,
Okay.
and now I'm forgetting her name. Amy Adams.
Yeah.
Somebody asked an AI artist to show what Amy Adams would look like in a green bikini, pregnant with no arms.
Oh, okay. And that's what it designed?
That's what it did,
Okay.
which I find kind of creepy.
Well, it did the job. You know?
I mean, why?
Yeah.
I guess we need to really look at who asked for the stuff.
Yeah, I guess so. You know?
But it looks real, doesn't it?
It sure does.
Okay. And now, since we're asking it to do art, it's like real art. It's interpretation. And so if it was just trained by looking at photographs, it might not know, or art, I should say, it might not know things we know. Like, okay, this was asked to show two women at a party having a good time. You see anything weird about it?
Well, it looks like an old photo.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like it pulled it off the
Kind of
internet.
retro. Do you see anything else that's weird about it? This was AI generated. These people are not real.
Yeah, what is that? What is it holding?
It's like a camera or something.
Oh, okay.
Anything else that's weird?
Is it the same person?
No. These aren't real people.
Okay.
These people don't exist.
Okay. What's the person in the background?
Look at her hand.
Oh my goodness, that's creepy. I didn't even notice that. That's terrifying.
Would she have 7
Yeah,
fingers?
it looks like it.
Yeah. And if you think that is weird, how many teeth does she have?
Oh yeah, that's a lot. She's a demon.
Yeah. So it's not perfect
Yeah.
because it doesn't know that we know that you should have somewhere in the neighborhood of 32 teeth, and you should have somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 fingers or 4 fingers and a thumb on each hand.
Right.
Somewhere in that neighborhood. So look at this.
Okay.
See this woman? How many teeth does she have?
Yeah, a lot of teeth. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little weird, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Man, I have a bad feeling that these people are probably real.
They're not real.
Because I don't know. I'm sure you can find their doppelganger somewhere in society.
Well, then somebody's walking around with like 40 teeth in there, or 80 teeth or whatever. Look at this guy. Look how many fingers these guys.
Yeah.
They got the fingers wrong again.
Yeah.
So you got 3 up here, and then you got 2 more down here. And then what is this?
Yeah.
Is this another finger? I mean,
Yeah. But listen, the AI was tasked with showing people having a good time.
yeah.
So
I mean, they do look like they're having a good time.
yeah, it just looks like
This guy, 80 teeth, and maybe 14 fingers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if anyone's looking closely at that because it looks like they're at like some type of a house party or college party or
Yeah,
something.
they probably told the AI, hey, I want to see a bunch of people having fun at a house party.
Yeah.
Now, I want to say the other thing that's kind of weird is if you look past the teeth and the fingers,
Yeah.
wouldn't you consider all of these people attractive? They're attractive looking people, right?
Yep. Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. See, that's another problem with the way that we're training it. If everything it's creating shows attractive people and we're thumbs upping that, and we're not thumbs upping other things,
Yeah.
it may, you know, it might be more human than we'd like to admit, because isn't that a major problem right now? That people have an unrealistic view of what human beings are actually like because they look at social media.
Yeah, very true. Very true. That's a good point.
Yeah, not everyone's always having fun or thin or fit or
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
But it's just weird.
Yeah.
The finger thing is really weirding me out, especially this one.
Yeah, that one was a little creepy. That startled me a bit when you showed me that one.
So at first, I was reading this online. They were like, "Hey, you notice anything wrong?" And I was like, "Oh, it's got green stuff on her arm. That
like
could be paint. That's
right. Yeah, it's not a
people
real tattoo.
do that.
Yeah,
yeah." And then I was like, "It seems like too many teeth."
Oh yeah.
And then I was like, "What's going on with the hand? What is that? What are those?" It just kind of freaked me out.
Yeah. Okay, so when does the robot uprising and take over?
Well, hopefully that never happens.
No.
But just imagine like never having to drive your car or like I have had a robot vacuum cleaner in my house for a while, a Roomba. You know, that's not AI. That's just a programmed robot. And I got a little bit of an older one, so it's not even really that smart. But what it doesn't do is it doesn't take expired food out of my fridge and make sure it gets thrown away. It doesn't dust. It doesn't clean the toilets. It doesn't do any of that. But AI could even take it even further if we let it. Like, imagine, you know, if you were getting sick and it would automatically order medicine for you, or maybe it shows it notices certain stress levels, and so it just starts you know, making sure that you have things that you like around you, or that maybe it orders your favorite food or something.
Yeah. So I think the key word that you said there was like if you let it, because once again we're still programming and telling the AI like what we want and what we want it to do. So I mean, at this point, I mean, we're still in control, and
Sure, and I think we will be for a while.
Yeah. And, you know, I mean, I know because, you know, there's a lot going on right now. I know there's a lot of like ambitious engineers and they're really, you know, designing, you know, these things for whatever reason. And, you know, who knows, that could, you know, one design and that could be it, you know.
You know, I think that the future is going to be incredible, but it also kind of scares me a little bit, but I'm also looking forward to it. I'll tell you, I own a 3D printer, and I remember when I first got it, and I was doing some CAD drawings, and I made some usable things for my wood shop area in my garage. And I just thought to myself, this is the coolest thing ever. I can make things that you can't even buy.
Yeah.
I just have to think about them, and then I go design them, and then I click print, and then a little while later I have it. But imagine if I could just say something out loud like, hey, you know what? I need my shop vac to be able to connect to this tool, and so I need a coupler that can connect between the two. And then it just says, hey, can you point your camera at the tool? Okay, got it. Now, can you point it at the shop vac? And he goes, okay, I got it. And he goes, yeah, I'm printing one up for you now. And that would be incredible, because right now I got to go into CAD.
Right.
And it takes some time.
Yeah.
But if we could just do it, that would be amazing.
Yeah, it sure would. That sure would. I think that we just need to remind these engineers and the people who are designing the AI is that we want to limit it. We want to make this AI kind of benefit us and to kind of serve us in a way. I mean, I know that sounds kind of terrifying in its own way, but I mean, if it's going to benefit us and we can live a life where, where I mean, not just sitting around doing nothing, but kind of living your dreams in that aspect.
Well, I can tell you that the versions of AI that the general public have access to, we already know that certain ones have already been, for lack of a better term, dumbed down. Because they're still training it, and it maybe the more advanced one that's not released yet to the general public needs a little bit more help.
Okay.
But we also have things like I was saying before, like what they're terming as bias training to say, this is okay behavior and that's not okay behavior. But at the same time, what they have been releasing to the public, human beings are already abusing. So there are people out there asking the AIs to do certain things, and they've been told because of their bias training to not do them.
Right. But
now people are threatening it, and they're noticing that they're able to get it to do things under threat.
Well, see, that's just showing the humans are the weak link, because that's just like
I think that's humans being humans,
Yeah, I don't know. That's just, I mean, I guess so, because that just shows you the clear nature of humans, and like at that point, you wonder when the AI would like revolt or come into its own being and be like, listen, you're a danger to yourself.
So let me ask you this. Let's say we could just snap our fingers and you would be in charge of all AI, creating all the rules and drawing all the lines and telling it what to do and what not to do. How would you handle this? Okay. It's been shown that most college kids use ChatGPT to write their papers now.
Okay.
How would you stop that?
Probably just say that. Probably just program that or I mean, I guess as simple as possible, like not have those kids access to that type of AI technology.
You can't stop what they do when they use their phones or they go home at night,
or I don't know, somehow, I don't know if there's even a way to limit that.
But couldn't there be an argument made that we kind of already went through an event like that, sort of like the calculator? I bet you in the beginning they said, oh, nobody can use a calculator. We got to learn how to do it all on paper. But I don't know about you. There was a point in high school where they were like, everyone needs a calculator. And it wasn't like, I remember in grade school where they were like, nobody can use a calculator. So we need to learn the simple, adding, subtracting, multiplication, and division. But when you got to high school, they were like, we want you to learn the principles, and we don't really care if you can do it in your head. Use the calculator.
Yeah.
So isn't that sort of the same thing?
Well, I don't know, because I think that's a little bit different, because I understand the principles of mathematic calculation, but there's no principles of writing an articulate article or paper. Like, that has to come from you. You can't say like, what are the elements of writing an articulate paper? Like, there's nothing to that. So,
and see, the weird thing is like I was showing you ChatGPT, but you could say to it, you could give it a very specific thing,
right,
very detailed thing. You could say, I need a college level paper written in the style of someone from this area, and I want you to talk about the virtues of this topic. And I need the paper to be 5,000 words. And then, wham, it just starts printing it off on the screen. And then you just turn it in as yours, because it is a unique piece of work. It's not like if I asked that question and then you copied and pasted what I said and wrote it in there, you'd get a different answer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess I would just have to say that's kind of where we might have failed the AI technology, or failed the humans in creating that technology, because as great and as beneficial as that can be, that's a downside. And as much as I would like to have like our AI technology kind of benefit humans, then that's I mean, I guess it would have to come to a certain point, because if we're still like reproducing humans, you want them to like, learn and grow and be intelligent, I guess, to a certain point to where you don't have to do.
Sure, but how do you just stop us from
Yeah.
being lazy pieces
Right.
of crap
Yeah.
that are just like, nah, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I was watching this. I watched this. It's sort of like a podcast. It's kind of like a news program on the internet, and they were talking about how there are since February there were over 200 for download only books on Amazon that list one of the authors as ChatGPT.
Oh, wow.
So these people are just going, write me a children's book, and then it kicks out a children's book, or write me a book on mathematics, and then they just copy and paste and save as a PDF, and then they upload it to Amazon, and they just start making money.
Wow.
And no one seems to care. Now, some of these books aren't that great. In fact, I would say most of them. And
Yeah.
here's the other problem. We talked about it's the way it trains. It wants to give you an answer. How do you know what it's saying is real?
Yeah.
Just like when you say, show me a picture of a bunch of people having fun, and then the woman has, I'm counting them up here, 7 fingers on one hand, and you think, she also seems to have like, I don't know, 60 front teeth.
I don't know, dude. There's a lot of fun going on in both of those aspects. All them teeth and all them fingers.
Yeah. Although, I got to say, children's books might be great. I mean, you've read children's books. You've got kids.
Yeah.
They're kind of simple. And I think AI could do a real good job at creating some children's books.
Yeah.
In fact, imagine very specific children's books. Let's say one of your girls was playing in the backyard. She fell down and skinned her knee. And then that night, you wrote her a story about a kid had a very similar name to hers that fell down in the yard and skinned her knee, and how she was okay in the end. I mean, you could literally go in and tell AI that entire story and then say, and at the end, I want her to be a princess.
Yeah.
And then your kid's mind would be blown.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
Like, what? I mean, she might think that it's a coincidence the first couple times, but after you've done it like 10 times, she's going to be like, my dad writes books every night for me. He's the best dad ever.
Yep, you can be a hero. You can be the best parent in the world.
So, I don't know. It both freaks me out a little bit, but I also think it could be amazing. Like, just imagine the whole storybook story thing, but imagine if that just happened and you didn't have to ask for it. And every night you went to read your kid a story and you grabbed a tablet beside their bed, and it was basically a unique story written in a way that would make them very happy every day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of thing that would almost be too difficult for us to do, like human beings. It would definitely be expensive to have a writer on staff all the time. But this could just happen.
Yeah. Well, that's dreams.
It's weird, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
The
it sure
world
is.
we're living in.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know. If you guys come up with any of your own thoughts on this, whether we're just insane and crazy and we've got nothing to be worried about, or you never thought of it this way, or whatever you've seen yourself and thought that's going to be incredible when this happens, let us know down in the comments. But other than that, I think we're all set for today.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go check out a few AI movies and become unterrified.
And remember, nobody tell this guy's fiance that he didn't write that, and you should totally just text it to her.
Yeah, I think I will.
And see what she'll say. You could be like, "Hey, hey, honey, I love you, and I was thinking about you, and I wrote this poem."
I think I'm going to do that right now.
Okay.
See you later.
Yeah. Bye.